The John Wick saga weaves a rich tapestry of symbolism, philosophy, and narrative depth that transcends its surface as a high-octane action series. It offers profound meditations on grief, identity, morality, and the human struggle to find meaning in a chaotic and often unforgiving world. At the heart of John Wick's story lies the transformative power of grief. The narrative begins with John as a man devastated by the death of his wife Helen. Her final gift to him, a puppy named Daisy, serves as a fragile embodiment of love, innocence, and hope. When Daisy is killed in a senseless act of violence, it marks not just a personal loss, but a shattering of the last vestiges of John's humanity. Grief transforms into vengeance, propelling John into a labyrinthine journey through the criminal underworld, a journey that mirrors the mythological descent into Hades. This underworld is not just a physical space, but a metaphorical representation of John's inner turmoil, a place where he confronts the darker aspects of his nature and his past. John's dual identity as John Wick and Baba Yaga underscores a central theme of the series, the tension between who we are and who we are forced to become. John Wick is the man Helen fell in love with, a man who sought peace and redemption. Baba Yaga, the boogeyman, is the assassin who mastered violence to survive in a brutal world. This duality reflects the Jungian concept of the shadow self, the darker, repressed aspects of one's psyche. John's struggle to reconcile these identities mirrors the human journey toward individuation, the integration of all aspects of the self to achieve wholeness. As the series unfolds, John's actions reveal his inner conflict, the desire to honor Helen's memory by living a life of peace versus the necessity of embracing his violent nature to survive and protect what little remains of his humanity. The John Wick films are steeped in philosophical inquiries about choice, consequence, and the nature of freedom. John's life is defined by the choices he has made, becoming an assassin, leaving the life for love, and returning to it out of necessity. These choices carry profound consequences, creating a web of debts, obligations, and conflicts that bind him. This reflects existentialist ideas, particularly those of Jean-Paul Sartre, who argued that human beings are condemned to be free, meaning that we are entirely responsible for our actions and the burdens they create. John's journey is a meditation on this burden of freedom and the difficulty of escaping the consequences of one's past decisions. Violence in the John Wick series serves as both a narrative device and a philosophical statement. The film's stylized choreography and meticulous attention to detail elevate violence to an art form, transforming it into a language through which John expresses his defiance and survival. Yet the series does not glorify violence. Every act carries weight, revealing the physical, emotional, and moral toll it exacts. John is not merely a killer. He is a man seeking to navigate a world where violence is both a tool for survival and a source of perpetual conflict. The films pose a question: can a man so deeply immersed in violence ever find redemption? The answer is deliberately ambiguous, reflecting the complexity of human morality. Religious and mythological symbolism permeate the series, adding layers of meaning to John's journey. The high table, with its rigid hierarchy and rituals, functions as a representation of institutional power and systemic control. Its emissaries and codes evoke the structure of a church, with John's rebellion symbolizing a challenge to divine authority. This rebellion aligns with Nietzschean philosophy, particularly the idea of the Übermensch, a figure who creates their own values in defiance of imposed moralities. John's fight against the high table is not just a struggle for survival, but a quest for autonomy in a world that demands submission. The Continental Hotel, with its strict rules and codes of conduct, represents the human desire to impose order on chaos. It is a sanctuary where even the most ruthless assassins adhere to a code, reflecting the Hobbesian idea of a social contract. However, this order is fragile, as shown when John disrupts it by killing Santino on Continental grounds. This act symbolizes the inevitable clash between personal ethics and institutional rules, highlighting the limitations of systems designed to maintain order in a chaotic world. The series also draws on Eastern philosophy, particularly Zen Buddhism and Bushido, the samurai code of honor. John's precise movements, his focus on the present moment during combat, and his disciplined approach reflect Zen principles of mindfulness and mastery. Bushido's emphasis on loyalty, honor, and self-discipline resonates with John's adherence to personal codes, even when they lead to immense personal sacrifice. His actions suggest that living with integrity, even in a morally ambiguous world, is a form of resistance against corruption and chaos. Death is a constant presence in John Wick's world, not just as a physical threat but as an existential force. The series explores the idea of mortality through the lens of Albert Camus's absurdism. John's life is a Sisyphean struggle, an endless cycle of violence and survival that seems devoid of ultimate meaning. Yet, like Camus's Sisyphus, John persists, asserting his will in the face of an indifferent universe. His journey reflects the human condition, the search for meaning and purpose in a world where such meaning is not readily given, but must be created through action and defiance. The symbolism of the dog evolves throughout the series, representing different facets of John's journey. Daisy, the beagle, embodies love, loyalty, and the innocence John wishes to protect. Her death is not just a loss, but a severing of his connection to a life of peace. The pit bull he adopts later symbolizes resilience and rebirth, a testament to John's refusal to succumb entirely to despair. Dogs, often seen as guardians and guides in myth and tradition, serve as symbols of loyalty and humanity, anchoring John to the values he fights to preserve. The John Wick saga ultimately offers profound insights into the human condition. It explores the transformative power of grief, the tension between personal identity and societal roles, and the struggle to find redemption in a world that thrives on chaos. Through its rich symbolism, philosophical depth, and mythological echoes, the series transcends its genre, inviting viewers to reflect on the choices that define us, the systems that bind us, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of insurmountable odds. John Wick's story is not just about vengeance. It is a meditation on what it means to live, to fight, and to seek meaning in the shadows of loss.